Hi everyone. How are we doing today? This is my second episode. I'm extremely excited. Have you ever felt like you didn't really belong anywhere? You were too much for one world and not enough for the other one. That's what it feels like to be born in between cultures. Like you are raised in one world, then you're becoming in another one. And that journey is complicated, but it could also be beautiful. I'm Belén Jimenez, and this is Good Girl Complex. Space for the girls that were taught to keep it all together, stay small, and call it love. Here, we unlearn the pressure to be perfect and learn to reconnect with your voice. If you're on the same journey, welcome. So today's topic is a very close to home topic, is a very personal one for me because I'm going to share a couple things of my immigrant journey with you guys. And yeah, so I'm just going to share a little bit of my story. I feel like this should have been the first episode, but it's fine. It's okay. We are learning in emotion, we are doing the thing, and we're just learning as we go. I moved here right after high school. As an exchange student, I basically came here and lived with a host family, and it was an intercultural experience where I had to teach, they had three kids, I had to teach the kids Spanish. At the house, I learned English with them, and then I also went to school for English while I was in this program. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. I'm extremely grateful. I look up to them so much, and I'm just extremely grateful for the experience. So basically, when you are an exchange student, everything is very exciting. Everything is an adventure. It's almost like a clean, you know, page where you get to rewrite your full story. And that was sort of the mentality I had. I fear, what is that? That never really existed in my vocabulary. And I was just, I don't know, I was so brave. I don't know how I did that, honestly. Especially when I was like in the program, everything was just exciting, everything was new. I was learning a new language. I was meeting people from all over the world until I obviously got out of the exchange student bubble and I stepped into the real world here in the US. And I realized that I was foreign. I never really realized before when I was a student. I just felt like a girl, just going somewhere and studying. I don't know. I literally never realized that I was different until I stepped out of the program and into the real world. And then I got, my first job, and I basically had an accent. I'm still learning how to speak until now. Like, I think it's going to be a full life journey for me. But yeah, that's when I started to feel different. I came in contact with reality and I realized that things were going to be a lot more difficult for me because I had a disadvantage. I was not born here. I didn't have a support system here. So I was truly on my own. Just me and God, just, against the world kind of thing. And honestly, I was so brave. I was really brave. Basically, I come from a country where they practice collectivism as a culture. That is the way they live their lives over there. And I come to America where they practice individualism. I didn't really figure this out till not too long ago. Why was it so different? Why do I care with all these crazy things? Why do I care about others more than I care about myself? And family is like, so, family is the most important thing. You put everyone first and everybody's in your business kind of thing. And it's just collectivism. And, we all sort of hold each other hands And then you come here and everything is individualism, which means everyone's expected to be independent immediately. Right after, I don't know, 15, 16, they want you to start getting ready. You're leaving to college. And yeah, and then you are going to figure out your life. We have our lives, you have your lives, and as long as you are responsible for your own life, then everybody is happy. Well, I didn't really grow up like that. I grew up in a third world country, actually the most Catholic place in South America, Paraguay, where I went to Catholic school, all girls school run by nuns. So basically, the whole thing of self sacrifice, humility, family, and all these things were just really engraved in me. It's actually my biggest struggle because I struggle with collectivism and individualism because my soul wants to be individualistic so badly. I love the individual mentality, but it's almost like collectivism is in my veins. So I'm at war. That's what I feel like. I'm at war with myself constantly because I was taught this thing, but I want to be this thing. So that's one of the things that someone that experiences two cultures kind of goes through. And is a long life journey. So you're going to have to come at peace with that and understand that you carry both. You carry the culture you've been raised with and also the culture you're growing up in. You carry both, and it's okay. You get to have both. You don't have to pick one. You don't have to feel like you're not good enough in one, you're not fully part of the other. You're too American for wherever you came from, but then you are not American enough for here. That is just something that we need to erase out of our brains because we need to erase it. We need to truly step into who we are fully, which is both. We have both, and this is a new term that I learned that I didn't even know these. I didn't even know this existed, which is something called TC cakes, third culture kid. I think I fell into that a little bit. So basically, TC cakes are third culture kids, which means they are kids that are born and raised and then grow in a couple different cultures. So these are global kids basically, and you carry a little bit of each culture you are grown with. So basically, there is a lot of identity issues with being a TCK because we don't, since we have a little bit from each place, we don't fully feel like we belong. That identity, where is home, where do I belong? And if you're a first gen, if you're a kid, if you're a student that you move somewhere, you got married, whatever, you're going to experience this. And then if you're having kids, my kids probably will be a TCK because of course I'm going to teach them my Latin heritage, and they're going to learn Spanish. So they're probably going to still be a TCK. Definitely, there are going to be a TCK. But we just have to learn to understand that it's okay. We don't have to pick one place. We are both. And you have to really own that. You have to own it. And you have to be proud of it. Just you are bilingual or trilingual, or I don't even know, depending on how many countries you live. There's people that lived, I don't know, like diplomat kids are probably insane. They have a little bit of everywhere, which make us extremely empathetic. We have this cultural empathy for there's just we see the world differently. We have a lot of empathy, which is a gift. And also we don't like being put in a box because since we are sort of more open-minded than most people, we love change. We love learning new things. We are quick to adapt to new places. We're the best. Like you can put us anywhere and we'll be like, great, I'm gonna adapt. You don't have that fear. And there's just so many amazing things that comes with, coming from different cultures. Amazing things. I don't know why we don't talk about this more. And so, yeah, and then another thing that we do a lot is that we are the world's biggest chameleons. I don't know you, but don't do you feel like depending on who you're hanging out with, if you're hanging out with other kids like you sort of act a certain way. But if you're hanging out with I don't know. When I hang out with my American friends, I'm this persona. When I hang out with my immigrant friends, I'm this other person. And I basically just camouflage and I blend in perfectly. So we are the biggest chameleons. And no, we're not fake. It's just we learn to do that. The one thing with us is that we struggle with identity and we struggle with feeling like we belong until we learn that we do and we learn to really step into our culture, the one that we create from the boat. So basically, TCKs is called third culture kid because you come from one place, you are raised in another. So those are two different cultures. You combine those two cultures and you create your own. So that third one is your personal culture. And I'm still learning about what that is. And I don't even know if I'm fully on the spectrum of a TCK. I think I am because I really relate with everything. I literally was learning about it and I was just like, how did I not know this was a thing? This is my community. I feel seen. And yeah, I guess it's a thing and I'm just learning about it. So if you want to educate me on this, on anything I said about it, please do because I'm still learning about it. And if you are, if you're a kid of an immigrant, you go through that too. That's why you're here and you feel like you don't fully belong to the culture here because you carry your personal culture as well. And then you go, to Mexico or Brazil or whatever, and then you go there and you're like, but I know this is where I'm from, but I don't connect with this place. That's very normal. We all feel that way. When it comes to collectivism and individualism, I think this is one of the things we struggle with the most because we basically we carry so many expectations that are not our own. We carry this burden of, especially if your parents are the ones that came here, you carry a lot of their sacrifices with you. And I better, you carry that guilt of like trying to really prove yourself because your parents have sacrificed so much, because they have sacrificed so much for you to be here. And for me, since I'm the one that sort of immigrated, for me, the burden that I carry is basically the question like, was it worth it? Leaving my home. First, it was all fun and games. It was fun, like it was an adventure. And then time starts to pass by. And you realize that people people that you love are back home. Things don't change there. And I can't get emotional here, but um time goes by. So I never really understood time as I know now, because what I understand about time is that we will just never get back the time we lost with our loved ones. And that's a burden that I carry with. And it's heavy. So I get it. Your parents, if they did this for you, they sacrifice so much for you to be here. They sacrifice comfort and like their culture and their communities and all these different things so you could have a better life. And it's beautiful is what they say. There is no an extraordinary life unless you make extraordinary sacrifices. And I think that is a proof of what your parents have done for you. They made extraordinary sacrifices so you could have an extraordinary life, and you should be extremely grateful. But yeah, so this is just one of the things that I carry with the time that I will never get back. So I understand time now. As heavy as this is, it makes me live my life more like I'm just like completely aware of everything, and I'm aware of I just don't want to waste time. And sometimes I feel like we live in a world where we're just zombies. We literally, like, we don't have sense of time. We're just like on autopilot doing everything and with our routines, but we're not awake. We're not alive. We're not living. We're not aware that we're not going to be here for eternity. We're just not. And I think because I have sort of sacrificed so much precious time with my loved ones, I understand that. I understand that we're not going to be here for a while. And that burden that I carry is always just asking myself, like, was it worth it? And the truth is, so it is a burden, but it's also my fire because I don't get to have it easy. I don't get to say, I didn't sort of take full advantage of this. I don't get to have it easy because I have to sacrifice way too much to be here. So I have this fire in me where I'm just like, whatever it is that my heart desires, I have to go for it. Like, I don't get easy. I don't get what ifs. Like, I have to do everything my heart desires because I have sacrificed way too much to be here. I have sacrificed way too many beautiful memories and things that things that make up a life just to be here. I understand I have to work a lot harder than people that are born here to have the same opportunities I do. And guess what? I'm willing to put that work in. I'm willing to do that because I have that fire in me. So if you're an immigrant kid, first gen, second gen, I'm telling you, your parents had that fire, meaning you grew up with that. You grew up watching them. So you can channel that fire for yourself, for your goals. Because honestly, when I hear of an immigrant story, when I hear anyone that's an immigrant, I'm always so amazed because these people are truly, they're like superheroes. They literally have left everything behind, start from zero, learn a whole culture, whole language, and I'm just like so amazed. And I can imagine if I was born here and like English was my first language, I will be flying. I will be nonstop. I'm still like translating everything. There's two languages in my brain where I translate things, and that's what I'm a little slower, and I have to really think what I'm saying because I'm translating things. But if I was born here and English was my first language and Spanish was my second or whatever other language that you speak, I will be flying. I will be flying. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of that, please. Because I struggle with, my accent and communicating because Spanish is my first language, this is sort of like a really fun challenge for me because I'm going to listen to the way I speak and I'm going to learn from it. And I think I'm just going to keep getting better. Just like you, probably, I believed a lie, which means I believed that I didn't belong here. I believed that I was never going to be good enough to step into my voice, that other people sort of have the right to get better opportunities than me. I believe all of those lies. I have. And now, every time I feel weak or I feel sad or whatever it is, all I need to do is to remember that girl. That girl that was not scared of anything. That girl that was just like, oh, I don't like any what ifs. I'm going to go. Doesn't work. I'm going to come back home and everything will be the same. But I had, the fire that girl had. Honestly, if I were to describe an animal to sort of describe the immigrant's heart, it would be a lion. And I have that in my heart. So every time I feel weak or sad, I just have to channel that lion. I just have to like remember the heart of the lion. We don't get easy. We just get to win. That's it. You don't get easy. You have your second language is confidence. And you just don't get easy. You don't do easy. You get what you want. That is the only way. Like I said, the immigrant heart is the lion's heart. It's basically just going through life and knowing and going through every single struggle, every single season, and just knowing that you're gonna come on top of it, that you are gonna rise regardless. Like, and you sometimes you're so scared to even ask for help, or sometimes you're just smiling but you're dying inside because you have that lion's heart. You are going to rise. So that's the immigrant's heart, and I don't know, it's my favorite thing. It's just my favorite thing. I just want to tell you this also. If you're struggling with identity and belonging, I want to tell you that your existence is not random. You are here because someone before you chose to be brave. So you have the immigrant heart inside of you. You have the lion's heart inside of your body. You just need to channel their energy. You have it. You have that fire in you. Your existence is not random. Own it. Own every single part of your cultures. Own it. Be proud of it. That's when you're going to feel like you belong, once you step into yourself. That is where I am right now. I've never felt so in love with myself. I love myself so much because now finally I feel like I belong. Because I belong, and you do too. The takeaways are that you don't need to fit into just one culture to feel like you fit in. You get to have both, or I don't know how many cultures you live in. You get to have all of them and make your own, and you should be proud of every single one of them. Also, be proud because the fact that you have a couple cultures just means that you probably care a lot about people and that you can get to relate with everybody. I could literally put you anywhere in the world and you'll be just fine. You adapt, you have empathy, you have all these beautiful things about you just because you come from different cultures. So, be proud of that. Also, belonging to yourself. This is something that I'm still learning. Belonging to yourself is a lot more powerful than being understood. We're not meant to be liked by every single person. We are meant to stand on our ground and be true to who we are. People like it or not. That is what we are made for. So don't try to be liked by everyone. Just by yourself. You need to like yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to do whatever you do for yourself. That is what I want you to understand. Do it for yourself. And I know that we carry all these heavy things, especially if you come from a collectivism culture like I do. And it's almost like, it's honestly, collectivism is kind of scary. It's beautiful because family is so important, but it can feel so heavy sometimes. It can feel like, honestly, it could feel like, you know what it is? It's just like, I'm going to give you two analogies. One, you're going swimming with your family, right? And one person somehow is sinking. Most of them can swim, but you can swim. And basically, you're really close to the beach, or you're really close to get help, right? But all those people are sort of holding you. Everyone is holding each other down. And then you're about to get out to get help, and they're holding your feet and they're pushing you down. So that's what collectivism, I know that's like a little scary, but that's something that happens a lot. And I'm just being honest. You are just a little kid. You're trying to get out in the world and make something happen for yourself, but then you have the, you have sort of the responsibility in your shoulders from a really young age care about everybody at home, to care about the mental health, to care about you like grow up so fast because we carry with the responsibility of everyone in the family. And yeah, and it gets heavy, especially if you're a kid that hasn't even fully grown yet and you already carry with that responsibility. um Another analogy that I'm going to give you is, for example, someone on the plane, and you know, you have your family there and something happens, you have to get the mask on. And of course, you know what they tell you on the plane? To put the mask on you first before you help even your kid. Because the truth is, imagine if you put the mask on the people first, and those people are kids. They need an adult, right, to save them. But you decide to put the mask on them first, and then by the time you get to yourself, it's too late. You are probably passed out already. So basically, this is the individualistic mindset. You got to take care of yourself first so you can take care of others. You got to pour on yourself first so you can pour onto others. And I see that in every first world country. I see the individualistic mindset. Like, let me fully work on myself so we can like build together. But yeah, I know how heavy it could be. So if you have and you're carrying someone else's expectations because you come from a collectivism culture, I'm here to tell you, it's your life. You get to choose for yourself. What do you want to do? How do you want to live your life? You get to choose for yourself. And I know how heavy it is and how hard it is, because we don't want to disappoint our people, our parents. But the truth is, they're gonna understand when they see you flourishing, when they see you doing what you want to do, when they see you happy, they're gonna understand because they love you. Like always, I want to leave you with a couple questions. What part of your identity you oppress too? Because I feel like we do that too. What part of your identity, because you're trying to belong somewhere else so much, so you oppress a side of you? What part of your identity have been shrinked? If your voice could speak clearly, what would it say? If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone that needs it. And remember, we are trying to build bridges. So girls that feel like us don't have to fight so hard to step into a room and feel like they belong. I really hope this was helpful. Until next time, see you next time.